Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Real Deal, episode 3. In this episode, we're going to talk about our top 10 favorite TV shows slash series. Uh, and this one is going to be even harder than last week with our movies. We're not going to lie. Most of these are going to be on the fly because I don't know about Adam, but I have switched up my list probably 15 times. Uh, and change the order and whatnot.
Get
Um,
ready for 15 more.
yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Um, I will. I'm gonna do two honorable mentions. Uh, so my
DJ, welcome to the show.
thank you. No, DJ would have had like six honorable mentions. Let's be honest.
Damn, I couldn't decide. I had to get him onto the list somehow.
So I, I'm putting Raw slash SmackDown on honorable mention. Uh, because I mean, yes, it's a TV show, but I, I don't know. I see it differently than like, a Stranger Things or uh d- yeah, I don't know. So I just put that as honorable mention. And then because we didn't do 13 or 15 or I would have added these, I'm going to include the Disney afternoon from when I was a children.
Ah,
Because there are so many good shows that I still go on to Disney Plus and watch, from DuckTales to Darkwing Duck to uh, Tailspin. It- Again, it would have been like 15 or 16. Um, so those are my two honorable mentions. I don't know if you have any honorable mentions you want to put on there.
I, I, I'll do one. I'll do one, but I just want to say one of these days you're going to go, all right, we're going to do a top 10. Here are my 90 honorable mentions. That's just a top 100. Shut up. This is my show.
Listen, we could have done a top 100, but we would have been here for hours.
We would have been here for hours. You are going to be here for hours regardless. Um, and I'm actually going to go the same route, and I'm just saying this because RIP to the OG aspect of it. NXT from like 2015 till last year,
Yeah,
just because it was consistently the best wrestling show in the world, and now it is garbage.
it's colorful garbage, though. So it's tie dye now. We
It's
still have
You're making me sad. Stop.
we
Stop.
still, they still haven't explained it, but it's colorful now. I think what depressed me the most about it is like there's still good talent on there. It's just
I have their theme song that was their theme song forever. Resistance from Power Flow. That is how you start a television show. And now it's some I honestly I don't even know what the hell it is now, what the intro is. I
I
mean, forever they gave us beautiful people from Marilyn Manson. They gave us move to the music, play that in music. Like they've always had fire intros. Even they're not as popular anymore, but even I just wanna be loved.
yes.
Even though I wasn't too thrilled with the Nickelback phase that they had, but we don't talk about that. It's much like Bruno.
We, nobody's ever too thrilled with the Nickelback phase. Uh, but do you want to go first, or shall I?
Stone Sour is just a knockoff Nickelback. What? Chad Kruger? What? Just throw that in there. Yeah, so number 10. And again, like I could cheat and put lump this up as a whole, but I could just definitively put it on here just because of after school, you come home and you flip on Fox or Warner Brothers or the CW back in the day, whatever. Tiny Toons.
Yep.
If there was ever a proper sub genre, because we had, you had your regulars with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all that, but to have them that version as kids with Bugs and Babs and et cetera, that was pure genius.
Yes.
But and again, it's hard for me to not put in something like the Animaniacs and stuff like that, but Tiny Toons be with the second greatest cartoon theme song ever, the first being Animaniacs.
I would have to agree with that. I was considering putting either Animaniacs or Tiny Toon Adventures on mine, and I was like, I was looking through my list. I'm like, I already have too many cartoons and whatnot that I want to put on there.
Hey, ain't no shame. Ain't no
I,
shame in it.
I know. But my number 10 is a show that a lot of people either probably haven't heard of or didn't even watch. I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wish there was more than one season of it because I thought it was a great concept for a show. It was Mortal Kombat Conquest. Um, I I really liked this show. I really did. Again, it was only I think one season. Um, I think they were going to do a second season.
Who could have thunk? Who could have thunk that it was only going to last a season?
Sir, sir, sir.
He only likes it because Adam Bomb was in it.
Listen,
Shut up.
that was
as you can see, he is not refuting it. No, but no. In all seriousness, as a kid, we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But
yeah.
once you get into the teens, you're just like, Jesus Christ, what were we thinking? But it appealed to the specific demographic it was trying to appeal to, so it did its job.
Yeah. Well,
Wasn't
and
there a cartoon as well, not of Mortal Kombat Conquest, but like Mortal Kombat in general
there
that they
was
tried to dip into?
it was Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
That's it. That's it.
That one also I watched a little bit when I was a kid. The funny part about that, if you watch the episodes, they'll use the same like running sequence over and over again for the Tarkans and whatnot. It's just they recycle stuff, which is funny. But uh, I liked, and I'll still watch Mortal Kombat Conquest because I feel like there was a good idea there. And I feel like we all wanted a live action Mortal Kombat TV show. And that was kind of the closest that we got. And I think they had some good ideas. It just wasn't necessarily executed very well.
No, let's be honest. They didn't have a budget.
That's true. That is true. I do think for what they had, they did a decent job. Like there's much worse shows that I've seen. Um, but I always wish that they would do something again like that. Where they have some other unique characters. Each episode was around a certain character. Um, I think there was a couple episodes with Scorpion and Sub Zero. Again, two white dudes that should have been Asian. But hey, it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, that's my number 10, Mortal Kombat Conquest. I liked it. Okay, I liked it.
You sad little man. I don't refute the fact that I partially watched that too as a kid.
I am
And I
not.
can't, and that's the thing. I can't even, I can't put it over. It's one of those, I understand why kid me liked it, but
Yeah,
it's so bad. It's so,
it's it's basically, it's much like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's so bad.
no, but that show made Annihilation look like Casablanca.
I don't know. I don't know. I've recently watched Annihilation again, and oh my god, it, it gets worse the more you watch it. It
That's what
really.
I'm saying. The show was more tolerable than a full fledged
Oh, okay. Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
You want to talk about rehashing? Like again, the whole movie is just flips.
Flips and really bad green screen.
And hey, that's not Shiva falling into the fire again. Oh, or Baraka falling into the fire again. Oh, wait, it is.
They'll never figure it out. They'll never. Oh,
Hey, why does his claws look flimsy and wobbly as shit?
so did we get the custom Baraka mask made? About that, we went to a Halloween store.
We went we went to Foy's out in Fairborn.
anyway,
Shout out to Foy's. It's a fun
anyway,
shop. Number nine. Like I'm trying to get these out of the way. And again, this is another one. I could, and I'm actually, and I'm not going to cheat, but I'm going to, expose the business a little bit. Whatever. These are going to be in a row Nickelodeon action game shows. The first being Legends of the Hidden Temple.
yes.
And ever since they put it on Paramount Plus, I have abused and watched that time and time again. It's so it's so awesome. Most of the time, the kids do drive me up a wall, even to this day. Probably, obviously, more so these days. But the silver monkey, it's a base and a middle and a head. It just put it together. It came out. Kirk Fogg came out that they like deliberately made them make it seem like it wasn't so easy, but it's insulting to think otherwise. Like you can possibly buy the fact that like oh maybe going this way could be quicker, maybe going that way could be quicker. I can buy that. Not assembling like three easy pieces for the love of God. It kills me. But no, that was the show's so fun, partially educational when they would do the little storytelling thing before they would do the steps of knowledge and all that. And go Silver Snakes, best team name ever. Not the purple parrots and the
Hey,
orange iguanas,
green monkeys.
green monkeys,
Speaking of
the
abuse,
the blue barracudas. The barracudas always look confused.
speaking of abuse, those temple guards used to like attack these kids, and I was always,
Oh, oh, have you ever heard Kurt tell the story about how one kid vomited?
no.
Oh my, I'm going to send you the clip. I'm going to send you and like so much so then they even worse off that they had to bring the kid out, clean him up. And I don't know if this was when they were like using like infants at first. Because you remember there were times like the kids were like 6. You're
Yeah.
like, why are they on this show? And why are you having temple guards going, ah, I will not lie. I always walked around with my bottom lip puckered out like Olmec. Let's rock. But yeah, like a kid was busting ass, was running through, and then I think a temple guard came out, and the kid went wah.
That's
But my favorite on-air moment was a kid got so frightened that he just ran out of the temple, out of the forced view right there. Whatever the kid just said, "I'm out," and the guard's like, "No, come on, I don't get paid unless I take you away," which would be very, very, very bad in 2022. But come here.
TV shows we wouldn't be able to do in 2022.
Well, you could, you just maybe not.
Don't grab the kids.
Actually, but here's the thing. I take that back. The temple guards were child's play as opposed to the dark forest when you had the damn tree going, gotcha. That was more ball retractingly terrifying than a guy in a mask just going, ooh.
I have to go. I have it saved in my watch list, but I have to go back and watch those episodes again.
Oh, and one more.
Yeah.
Steps of knowledge question. Polynesians were often referred to as boom. A kid buzzed in and said Polynesian.
Yeah,
and there's the most uncomfortable silence that seems to go on for eternity. And Olmec just goes, "That's not one of our options."
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's like no, but it's anyway.
So number 9 for me, Polynesian. Another show.
I love that show.
Another show on Nickelodeon. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I know
yes.
about this. I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was they were around a campfire and they would tell scary stories. And it was, if you haven't watched it, but you watched the Goosebumps TV show, similar stories and things like that. Obviously, the Goosebumps show was based on the books, whereas Are You Afraid of the Dark wasn't based on really any books or anything that I know of. But I don't know. I was more partial to Are You Afraid of the Dark, the show.
Damn
Where
right.
I would read the Goosebumps books more than the show. I mean, I did watch Goosebumps, but there was just something about Are You Afraid of the Dark that they actually it was actually a good show, and it was actually scary for that age range. It wasn't like goofy, stupid, scary stuff. I mean, they had some episodes that were like, okay, why is this scary?
Goofy, scary skeletons. You said goofy and scary, and I'm like, I got it. I can't. Goofy, scary skeletons, it shivers down your spine. Wait, unpopular opinion. I hated Goosebumps.
Okay.
Not like oh, I thought it was dumb. And the rare time I can say the books were much, and they really were.
Yeah, there were some episodes that I didn't mind, and there were some episodes that I watched because I liked the book and I wanted to see how they compared. Like Vampire Breath, I watched because that was one of my favorite Goosebumps books.
The kid in the Halloween mask is a good one where you can't get it off.
Yeah,
there has to be a line.
Yeah,
yeah. But when they had the one where the potato has like sharp teeth, I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I have to go with Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Favorite episode.
What was it? I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's based in a movie theater, and
Nosferatu.
Yes,
Nosferatu.
Basically, that's what it was. Yeah, and Nosferatu comes out of the screen and terrorizes the kids.
And the creepy, he's been in a bunch of episodes, but the dude with the
Yeah,
beard, and I am not a nutbag.
yeah, yeah. I loved him. He, what for whatever reason he was just creepy,
Yeah,
and
it
it
was
worked.
perfect. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was perfect. And
After
thus we forget,
after Pink.
Mr. Sado.
Yeah.
That's Sado.
I loved that guy, and I love that they kept bringing him back like in different episodes.
But it worked.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
worked.
Yeah,
Worked. Like for me, it was the red bike.
yeah,
The kid, his buddy dies, from drowning in that little by that lake they would go to, and then
yeah.
like he like comes back to help him out, and all that. That's a good one. That and the one where the kids go to that, I don't know if it's a school or whatever, but they're all possessed and they're like pouring that shit in the pool to like feed those eggs for that giant green monster that would go, and like the owners of the place would like peel their skin back, and they would be all scaly and whatever. It was very not not They Live like, but
Well,
almost like
and
the original version of The Faculty.
there was another one that I liked that there was actually one jump scare in it that always got me. Um, it was they were kids volunteering in a hospital, and for some reason, the night shifts because you know teenagers should be working night shift. That made sense. Um,
Duh.
but there was like a vampire in there, and like it was basically feeding on the patients and stuff like that. But there was one scene where like you go around the corner and it pops up, and I was like, okay, okay, they actually got a decent jump scare in there. I was
Absolutely.
like,
No,
okay,
that and the computer virus episode.
yeah. And for
Creepiest
some
little
reason,
person ever.
we're getting weird comments in here.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, yeah. What the fuck? Block user. What the fuck? Anyway,
That is not yours. Oh, sorry.
yeah, that is all. Yeah, that's not your slogan, bitch. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on up. Yeah, number 8. And again, it's another one of the action shows. And again, there's so many to choose from, but I'm talking about like the ones that I could watch over and over and over again. Guts. Of any iteration of it. Global Guts, the regular Guts, all that. It just, it's so iconic. I don't know if you watch the floor is lava on Netflix. The little challenge that they have at each episode kind of reminds me of the aggro crag.
Yeah,
And Michael O'Malley's the greatest kids game show host ever.
yeah. I I like Global Guts. Global Guts was good. Uh,
True, true.
and then
It had like a kid Olympic vibe to it.
yeah, and I was watching an interview with Mo, or I think that was the girl's name. I, I
It was Moira Quirk or something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, she was just it was just shortened to Mo.
yeah. Like I was, she was like talking about how she got the job, and she was like, I was just there, and they offered me a job, and I was like, that never happens.
Do you know how to blow a whistle? Okay, you are hired.
Yeah. Good job. You did it.
Also, the worst revelation ever. You can ask my wife about this because she saw the madness come out of me. AJ from the Backstreet Boys was on that damn show, and I wanted to break my television.
I think we were talking about this a while back because I think
I
I went to go look for that episode. I don't know if I ever found it,
and
but
it was the regular Guts, but it's
yeah.
like, yeah, AJ blah blah blah, and I'm like, and she mentions that, I'm like, no, what? And I do a little Google search, and son of a bitch, it was true. I'm like, you mean to tell me that Mr. Oh my God, we're back? Like he's in this?
That's great. Oh, that's
It's really not.
it kind of is. It kind of is. Anyway, moving away from the Backstreet Boys, we will be doing our top 10 favorite boy bands.
Oh,
I mean, I can think of five, maybe. So, anyway,
wait, is one of them 5?
it is. It is. I wonder how many people actually remember five. Anyway,
Baby, when the lights go out.
I, sidebar, and this is the I don't know why I find this so funny that it was in this movie, but I love how in Smart House they're watching the Disney concert of Five. That's what I wish they would put those on Disney Plus. Uh,
I wish they would put all the shows, yeah, but from the 90s that were worth a damn and not the
Yeah,
horseshit that they put on later.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I wish they would put on there. Uh, One show I know why they won't put on there, the famous Jet Jackson, but it was a good show, but suicide. I
Wow.
I I it's one of those things where like, yes, I get it, but at the same time, why can't we have that show? Why? It's like the China thing. People are gonna Google it anyway.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, the difference is when you Google China, you see China. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Moving on. Uh, Next for me is another show from the '90s on Disney Plus that you can go watch right now. Dinosaurs. It was
Not the mama.
yes. I believe it was a Jim Henson's show. I,
Probably since he's the goat of anything that involves puppets.
yeah, I don't know if he produced it, but he definitely made the puppets and stuff like that. I know I heard that I watched a documentary where like they were talking about him making them. I don't know if he produced the show or anything like that, but
He was
it was
definitely involved.
yeah, he was definitely involved. But I again, I loved this show. It was basically a sitcom of dinosaurs and how they live their daily day life and uh, I really remember, and I've been watching it again, to remind myself. But all I remember is the final episode of the series, like the series finale, was so dark because like it's when basically the dinosaurs are being wiped out, and you watch it as them, and it's like, no, this is for kids. Stop it. But no, it was a good show, and definitely one that I think people should go back and watch. Um, Obviously, you get the not the mama, which I think people will finally understand the meme. I feel like that meme went around for so long, and people were like, "What is this?" And I actually heard some younger kids be like, "I don't understand what that is," but yeah, not the mama, and I was like, "It's a show." Um, but yeah, so I got dinosaurs as 8. I think we're at. I don't know. I can't count backwards. And Adam has disappeared. I think his puppy ate him. He got a new puppy, by the way. So if anyone wants to congratulate Adam on getting a new puppy, I think he won it in Vegas. I think he.
I, yes, I was recently I was recently in the Vegas of the Lost. Here at the Vegas of Lost.
where he a puppy. I assume you want a puppy.
If only, if only.
I don't know. You came back
Sure.
from Vegas and wanted
Or I had
a
a
puppy.
yeah, but like this was already set in stone. I just didn't want to get the puppy, leave for Vegas for 4 days, and yeah,
That'll be fine.
that 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 would have been me. She's oh, she is adorable as all hell, but man, she is a handful. And her name is Elena. And if anybody's wondering why that route, it's the sister in Black Widow because she was amazing.
Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. Good. Number seven. Number seven.
That's what we have. Yeah.
Again, there's a couple things I want to go to, but like they got to be higher on the list. I've got
Yeah.
a little list. I've got a little list. And that again, that's the thing. It's just I've I got into sitcoms, but like I only had like one constant viewing of it, and that was like like the TGIF shows, Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step, because of the iconic songs, Step by Step. Do, do, do. Um, so I'm not trying to. I can't pinpoint just one from those because those shows were good, but I couldn't pick like my favorite one of the bunch. At least like all the great Nickelodeon shows, I could point out more of
Yeah.
of what I like. God, this is hard. This is really hard.
Don't hurt your wrist. Don't hurt your wrist.
It already hurts. It already hurts. Ah, God damn it. Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. It's just because it added to my love of cartoons and voices and such. Rocco's Modern Life.
Okay.
Because the greatest moment in television history happened on this cartoon was when they're trying to create a cartoon, Wacky Deli, and they
Yeah.
finally get it done, and then all of a sudden the sock puppet comes up and says platypus. I love those bastards so much, and thank God of the adult humor that we never got as kids.
I,
How dare you?
that's another show that I love going back and watching as an adult and picking up all of the adult jokes that we didn't get when we were kids.
You're like,
Which,
yeah, everybody show Red and Stimpy to your kids. That's so
oh,
educational.
uh, but honestly, that is genius, and I feel like other cartoons should do that because you know 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be sitting there with your kids watching these shows. So put in little like jokes that only the adults are gonna understand to keep them, entertained too. Um,
Yeah, I was saying they've been doing it forever, but they were more blunt with it back in the day. Then they realized, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, when you have a dentist on Rugrats called Dr. Lipschitz, and on Doug, Mr. Bone, and Principal Butt Savage.
I love it. I love it.
By the way, the voice of Rocco was the Taco Bell dog from back in the day, Carlos Alazraqui, who was a fantastic comedian and voice impressionist, and yeah, and I forget who else he does on the show. Pretty much all the Jim Duffy shows, like there's a total tie-in.
Yeah.
Mis- Mr. Big Head. Ed, come put some sunscreen on my head. Ed!
I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous.
Oh, you Filbert, you mean the guy that's totally not trying to be Woody Allen?
Not at all. Why would
Do I look okay to you?
Oh, what a great show. So we're on 7, right? I think. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
7. I got Wild and Crazy Kids. Uh, a show.
Crazy kids.
One of the shows when I was a kid, I wish I could have been on because it looked so much fun. Where they would basically travel around the country, and you had the opportunity to be on Wild and Crazy Kids, and there were different teams. There was like I think it was yellow, red, and blue. I want to say, but they would do all these different like games and stuff like that outdoors. So it was something different, kind of in that still in that vein of like kids game shows, but it was different. So I always liked Wild and Crazy Kids. I don't know if it's on streaming.
I don't think so. I think you'd have to maybe it is. I feel like I've seen on there because I started watching it, or I might have just like plopped it on YouTube or whatever. And the funny thing is, I got to go back. Maybe I just saw some bad episodes, but I'm like, this isn't as good as I remember.
It probably isn't, which is what scares me.
Well, yeah, but I remember loving it because it was like the kid version of Jackass,
Yeah, exactly.
but it was like through competition.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on any streaming places, so it probably just is on YouTube.
The Wild and Crazy Kids.
I gotta get that on there. Come on now. Come on
Come
now.
on now. I mean, they got Nick Arcade, another classic.
Yes.
Hold it right there.
And then there was the classic Wienerville. That was
Oh dear Lord.
anyway, number 6, sir.
Number six. Number six.
Yeah.
Again, another cartoon. Another cartoon. Y'all can hate as much as you want. I don't I don't give a fuck. The Simpsons.
Okay.
The Simpsons. It's one of the goats of television shows, and I've Alan Sepinwall, who was one of the writers for Rolling Stone, like he had to do it like his top 100 sitcoms of all time, and I think I'm pretty sure he put the Simpsons number one, and people were like, how could you put that on there? It hasn't been good in 20 years, or blah blah blah. And he said, I disagree, but even let's take that thought process. The first 10 years from 86 on were some of the most best television ever, whether it was just for comedic effect with satire and all that stuff. Homer Simpson is one of the most easily identifiable great television characters ever. Homer J. Simpson. The J stands for J. Yes, and for anybody that's never ridden it, ride the 3D ride at Universal. It's classic.
I need to ride that. I've been to Universal a couple of times, but I never had the chance to go ride it yet. But I have to do that.
Well, what haven't you ridden down there? Because I've done ridden them all. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't. I need to do a lot more at Universal because I've only been there like twice, and both times were for Harry Potter because my sister loved Harry Potter. So we went to
Yeah,
go
not a
there.
big Potter fan, but they do those parks right, I will say.
Yeah, yeah, You know, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan either, but it was really cool walking through and like you basically you feel like you walked into that world.
Hogwarts.
Yeah. So that was cool. I definitely want to go because I spend 90% of my time at Disney when I go down there. Um,
Yeah,
but that's just
as do we, but like usually Universal is a good end point because you can ride everything like 8 times.
yeah, yeah. I think if I ever get time to like go down with some friends, we'd probably definitely hit up. Like, I don't know, maybe friends that I have on a podcast. Um,
On a couple.
on a couple podcasts. Maybe at some point we can go down there. If one of us can get off work. DJ, you got a big boy job now. You can't do nothing. Uh, and then maybe that other guy that's in Narnia a lot. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, uh, we're on six, right? Right?
Say 36.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I got a cartoon as well. I'm going with Rugrats. I absolutely, to this day, I love Rugrats. It's a show I can turn on, and doesn't matter what episode it is, I can just watch it and enjoy it and call a 3-year-old girl a bitch. She was okay. I feel like I'm justified in that. Angelica was a bitch, okay, and Tommy was a year old for like 5 years, but it's fine. It's fine. Uh, but I don't know. And I haven't met many people who don't like Rugrats, who didn't enjoy it when they were a kid, or even watching now. Um, Now there are some things that the Rugrats movie I didn't really get into. Um, All Grown Up I didn't like, but the Rugrats the show I loved. I thought it was a great show.
It was the same thing with Doug. When they tried to progress him into an older age, it lost its luster.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, what lost it for me with Doug, because I used to love Doug, but then when Disney bought Doug and they did, Disney, Doug,
Exactly.
I was like, no, this isn't Doug.
No.
It was no. Disney. I love Disney, but there's a lot of shows and franchises that they bought, and then it wasn't the same again. Just wasn't.
Yeah.
So we won't talk about that though.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no.
All right, number 5.
Cracking into the top 5. I don't know if I want to put this next or number 3. But I'll put it there. The Sopranos. And I know that would be sacrilege for some, because it really is like maybe one of the greatest television shows of all time. Like I didn't get into it just because like I didn't have HBO at its in its prime and all that, but once like HBO Go and HBO Go and HBO Max and the stuff like that was readily available, then we binged it, where I binged it, like, God, I want to say this was like 2015, and I loved the show. For spoiler, because I mean, it's been 14, 15 years now. I am under the impression that Tony Soprano died. I know that's been a long withstanding debate, but that was the point, to drive us all crazy. The conversation is still a point of topic today, because it is one of the most sudden and most ambiguous endings in the history of television. But David Chase got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. But like I said, if you asked me he's dead. To me, there's a lot of groundwork to suggest otherwise, but I've heard a lot of compelling arguments as to why he possibly is not dead. But it is what it is. But all I can say is don't stop believing.
That's another show that I also didn't get into because I didn't have HBO. Um, I have again another show that I have saved that I need to watch eventually. It's just finding time to binge watch it. Because with a show like that, there's so many seasons and episodes that you kind of have to dedicate like a weekend or whatever. Same
It's
with
only 6 seasons. Well, technically like 6.5 because season 6 is split into 2 parts. It's kind of like what Stranger Things is doing right now. Which is again, that is not on my list just because it's not completed yet, even though it's probably my favorite current show. But yeah, like I said, it's honestly there's a lot to retain, but I do believe it's an easy watch.
that, and everyone tells me to go watch Game of Thrones too. That's one that I
Yes.
that I have to binge at some point as well. Um, anyway, so for me, um, I'm gonna put Cobra Kai at my number 5.
But it's not completed yet.
That's okay. Okay, some of the shows,
Don't worry, sir. I got this.
some of the shows on my list are not completed, but I think they're good enough to be in my top 10.
I guess I'll let it fly.
It didn't matter. I could put whatever I want. Okay, I could put Two Girls One Cup the series.
Okay, so
But no, Cobra Kai, I loved it, and still do. Obviously, I can't wait. Again, it's one of those shows you binge watch it and then you can't wait for the next season. You want to know what's going to happen. What who's gonna come in. What old character is going to come in to reprise their role. Which is one thing that I love about it. If you've watched the Karate Kid movies, there's so many characters that come back, and you're like, holy shit! Like they're as adults now, and it's progressing the story, with their kids, which is cool, and it's written well. I think the acting is done well. Even
it's exactly what it needs to be.
yeah,
It's contemporary, but it is totally 80s.
ex-
Totally 80s.
exactly.
Totally 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We're getting like really bad comments in here, and I don't know. We might have to switch from StreamYard to a different streaming service. Anyway,
What? Are they dogging us?
no. Well, can you see the comments?
I cannot.
I will send you a picture of what the comments are.
Okay. I mean, we can like. Oh wait, here we go. Um. Okay. Okay. Uh, what? It. I. Yeah. So we're just gonna ignore that.
Yeah, and I can't. It gives me an error when I try to block them.
It's what? What the hell?
Yeah. This
Did
is the
y'all
first time-
get? Did y'all get so tired of us of everyone just saying no, 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 no?
This is the first time this has ever happened. Anyway. Uh,
But
where
by the way, I cannot wait for Terry Silver to meet his abrupt end.
Yeah.
That gum bumping sack of snake fees. He's
Fuck that guy.
seriously. The fact that you can turn John Kreese babyface, there is something wrong.
Yep. That was.
You son of a bitch.
He's just one of those guys that like it's so easy to hate him. So easy.
So easy.
But anyway, sir, your turn.
The Big Bang Theory. Yeah, to something that I was completely against for the longest time because I'm like, there's no way that nerd got with that hot chick. Rah, rah, rah. And I don't know what the episode was that drew me in, but I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. And there's a reason why I have it up this high. It is one of my favorite TV shows. It's the number one show that I binge watch, number one show that I can just put on in the background. And it's like my binky. Again, just I know for some it kind of lost the plot a little bit towards the end. I still enjoyed it when everybody was growing up. That's what people do, folks. That's what they do. But I think that was the point of contention for people, is that like these were geniuses writing about idiotic nerds who were geniuses. But I'm like, I think that was kind of the point, is that they're so smart that they don't know how to handle everyday living. And then they kind of grow their backbone per se as time goes on. So I don't know. Like to me, it's one of the best. And I'm like, when you last 12, 13 season, whatever it is, I think you're over with the audience.
That's true. That's true. I've watched a little bit of Big Bang Theory here and there. Definitely something that I want to binge watch.
If you want to know what it's like to be in my head to a certain point, there you go.
Okay, maybe I don't want to binge watch that.
What the hell are you talking about? Did you get hit in the head with a coconut? No. Did you take a marijuana? Well, then I'm just all out of ideas.
Moving on to another show that is not completed, but I think it's good enough that I'm putting it on my list. And if you got a problem with that, well, then you're gonna have a problem with that. Mandalorian. Mandalorian. Again, I absolutely love it. Still waiting to see what happens with the next season with some things that have happened since the previous season. We're not going to talk about that though. We're not going to. It's fine. We're not going to. No, it's fine. It's fine. What you were saying, sir?
Just like we're not going to talk about the things that have happened in the previous season. We're just not going to go there.
Not what happened in the show, but what happened with certain actors and comments and things.
Oh, you mean Gina Carano?
Well, cat's out of the bag. There we go. Yeah.
I'll expose her. And by the way, I'm glad she was fucking fired.
Because of her, we're waiting to see what happens with the show.
Yes.
When it's going to come back.
I think it's supposed to come out in the fall, I want to say.
I think I read that too. But, anymore with. I don't hold my breath with things, especially with Stranger Things. It took us like 2 years to get this fourth season. It felt like, but I mean that makes sense. COVID happened and everything. So
Actually, let me just get a quick overview. Mandalorian Dark Cheese. Let's go to the old Wikipedias.
Oh, we're going to the Wikipedias.
The Pedias of the Wicca. The season is scheduled to premiere February of 23. So maybe I'm a little off right there.
I mean, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a tiny bit off.
Oh. I've already seen some co-stars that are going to be guest appearing. Yes. Yes.
Is that on the Wikipedia?
That's on the Pedia Wiki.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what, just because that would ruin it for everybody, but I just ruined it for myself. So
We're not going to ruin it for everybody. We're just going to ruin it for ourselves because that's what we do. We ruin things for ourselves.
Mhm.
But I think it's it's a good enough show to put on my list. Again, it's written well. The cast has been amazing from the 2 seasons that we've gotten so far, except for one. Fuck her. But
Mhm.
you know, yeah. But yeah, so that's my number 5. Is that where we're at? 5?
No, that we would number 4. That was the foe, the quattro.
Oh, that was Defoe. You right. That was Defoe. I'm trying to look for these casts.
So number 3, Sons of Anarchy.
Oh,
It's another show that I jumped into when I got to like season 5, and I went back and binged, and I was like, holy crap, this is incredible. Yeah, I'm not a motorcycle fan per se, but this show, fabulous acting. It is the same guy that wrote The Shield, from back in the day, for any Michael Chiklis fans. But again, Jax, Opie, one of the most emotional scenes ever is Opie's death scene. Great ending. I've argued with people of why it was great. People say they could have done anything else but that, but they give no rebuttal as to what they would have done. I'm like, then don't bitch. I'm not saying that you have to like it per se, whatever though, but if you can understand the reasoning behind it, I think you can accept it a little bit more. Not just going, no, it's stupid. It's stupid. Yeah, but SOA SOA is it's a great show. What is the problem, kind sir?
I'm looking at the co-stars. I'm not going to say who because I'm not going to ruin it for everybody. But I need to know who he's playing, what he's doing.
Who you talking about? On the Sons of the Anarchies?
No, on the Mandalorians.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the co-stars, the second from the bottom,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I need to know what.
All I can say is great Scott.
Anyway, we probably just gave it away. So sorry.
I don't get it. What does great Scott mean?
1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is that? Anyway, and by the way, the second one is better than the first one or the third.
My co-host tends to be a liar a lot, and that was another example of it.
I would never tell a lie.
And there's another one.
Number 3, another cartoon from the year that I was born. So that tells you anything. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1987. My favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. There's been a couple other ones that I've watched that I've enjoyed, but that was always my favorite. I think it was done the best, and it may just be nostalgia. but I always just I loved the animation. I loved how they did the Ninja Turtles. Um, it felt like they got their characters right in that show. Um, and I'm trying to look at the cast again because I know who did. I think it was.
And yes, Kevin Nash was Super Shredder in the movie Part 2.
Well, we didn't. That's fine. We didn't need to. But yes. So as I remembered, Rob Paulson did the voice of Raphael, who was one of my is my favorite Ninja Turtle. But he also did I forgot which one of the Animaniacs. I think it was Yakko, and a bunch of other uh, cartoon voices. He's one of my favorite voice actors. Um, that's how I learned geography. It's true. It's true. But yes, 1987 is my number 3.
And by the way, once again, you're wrong. Michelangelo's the GOAT.
No, it's not. No,
Sir, there is no debate to be had.
it's Raphael, and it's not because he has anger issues. Okay, it's not.
I
It's not,
lost the sigh.
it's not because my favorite color was red. That has nothing.
Red's my favorite color, and the guy that I love the most were orange.
Close.
This is close. Oh, fellow chucker, eh?
Couple shades off. All right, number 2.
Number 2, Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
Family Guy. I mean, it is stupid, idiotic, pointless, and it is my favorite cartoon show ever. As you can see from the level, from the heights of which I have listed it. But it's
Guess who's gonna be doing a little bit of this later?
my favorite line from the history of that show. I will not repeat, just because of reasons. Which was sad because like the early days, the animation was dog shit, but the jokes were so smart.
Yeah.
And like then as things progressed and they got more of a budget and this, that, and the other, obviously they could go a little more, a little bit more hardcore in terms of the jokes, because they were Fox was starting to realize, they really are giving us great numbers. We should probably let them do what they want. By the way, the show that was canceled twice and the DVD sales was like, we have to bring this back, and bada boom, it's been back on the air since like 04, 05.
Yeah. And I love Family Guy.
Yes. Your anguish sustains me.
Family Guy is one of the shows that I used to, and I still do, but I started watching when I was in high school, and until I started watching that show, I had never laughed so hard at a TV show because the jokes were so good, the characters were so good. Oh,
Stewie playing Marco Polo with Helen Keller is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
there's
When's it going to be my turn?
sidebar because I just thought of it. Similar show but different. I think the same creator. but from American Dad,
Yep.
there's
Yeah,
an
but still
there's an
still Seth
episode.
MacFarlane, yes.
Yeah, there's an episode where they become friends with their neighbors, and they go like doing parkour with them, and he falls down the stairs and breaks his leg, and part of the bone is popping out of his leg. And a dog comes up, and he's like, "Good doggy, good doggy." The dog tries to grab the bone. I don't know why. It's one of the funniest things I've ever. It's so,
Brian, there's a message in my alphabet cereal. It says, "Ooh, Peter, those are Cheerios."
there's so many stupid jokes from that.
and that's the thing. Like that's the point.
Yeah,
And the fact that people say that they can't stand Peter because he's so dumb. Like, has anybody ever heard of Homer Simpson?
yeah,
It's like there are episodes where like Peter will actually give like an intellectual, intelligent statement, but that's the joke. It's counter to what he is.
yeah,
But in character progression, like Homer would lose his edge if he like became a word scholar. And like it doesn't fit. But like again with Peter, again, it's a cartoon. You can do what you want. But like that is the point. He is an over exaggerated portrayal of New England people, particularly Rhode Island per se.
yes.
So, and again, another one. The baby's been 1 year old for 20 years, but can talk. And the fact that people have had a problem or an issue with the baby talking normally, but they have no problem with a talking dog. But it's like people make it make sense. I love them both, but
A talking dog who is in love with Lois. That's fine, but a talking
constantly.
baby, no. Talking baby, that crosses the line. That show has crossed the line many times, but not for a talking baby. Then, so my number 2 is a tie. So I can do what I want. This is a show that I actually didn't watch fully through until a couple years ago. It came out when I was probably in middle school, I think. But it is Power Rangers SPD and Time Force. Um, again, when I was a kid, I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then after that, I kind of didn't really watch the following seasons of Power Rangers after Mighty Morphin until later on, and then I started watching them kind of again when it was on Netflix, and then they took them off Netflix, which fuck Netflix. But
Can you do your impression of the putties?
what happened?
You don't know the putties, the thing that always they had the little things, the little gimmicks on their chest, and that's how they would disappear. The
Yeah, but I don't. Are you trying to tell me to disappear?
maybe.
Anyway, there's 2 of my favorite seasons of Power Rangers. I thought it was well written for what it is. At the end of the day, Power Rangers is a gimmicky kid show. We all know this.
And partially very racist. Rita was not the most best portrayed.
Oh, okay. Just because the Black Ranger was black, and just because the Yellow Ranger was Asian, okay, that doesn't mean. Anyway, they became less racist as
I'm just saying the bad dubbing. It was, and then they you know, in the later seasons they turned. Then they went full S&M with God, what was the dude with like the the steel Jeff Jarrett outfit, but he was red. His name began with a Z.
Oh, Lord Zed.
Zed. I was gonna go that route, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, it's just like what is this?
We don't explain it. We just watch it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I probably just ruined the show for for like 6 people, but
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, moving on. What is your number one?
number one, numero uno, Game of Thrones, best television show that has ever been created. Fight me. I don't care what anybody says. Just because the last season was dog shit does not change the fact that I enjoyed the previous 7 seasons. It's incredible, great memorable scenes. It's it's brutal. It's all that and then sum it up. Also, to me, you hear the greatest television monologue ever from Tyrion when he's on trial for a murder he did not commit. Incredible. I have fought with people about the last season. They're saying yes, it was not the best.
You're starting to sound like you're underwater, like I was. Bye, Adam. But we'll wait and see if he comes back. Hopefully, he comes back. I think we were having some technical difficulties there. We're gonna wait a minute, see if he comes back. I'm not doing Jeopardy music. Anyway, so how was your day? Is it good? Yeah. What did you do today? Really? Wow. That sounds exciting. Yeah. Wow. Any plans for tomorrow? Yeah. Oh, that should be fun. All right. All right. Yeah. Any plans for this weekend? No. Oh, really? Yeah. We're just waiting for Adam to come back because he was having some technical difficulties over there. So let me see if he sent us a message. See what's going on. Well, let's see. Where'd you go? Let's ask him where he went, shall we? So we're gonna. There he is. Oh my! We almost sent that message.
That is what happens when you let your battery get very low.
That generally happens. It happens to DJ usually, not you.
Why that?
So yeah. Anyway, what were you saying before you?
Like the amount of people that I fought with about the ending of Game of Thrones, and again, not the ending, but the fact that people said that that ruined the whole viewing pleasure of it. It's like I feel like it was just a big waste of time. No, it was not. You're a moron. Get over yourself. It was not the greatest last season because DB Weiss and David Benoff pretty much said that they want to do this because they wanted to go help write for Star Wars, which they never did. But I'm sorry, I can't diss the previous seasons that were such a joy to watch. So GOT's the goat is the got.
I don't have GOT as my number one. I haven't watched it yet, so I will eventually have to binge watch that and judge for myself whether the final season ruins the entire series. And I will probably tell you that it did, just because I can. And
That's mean.
well, My number one, again, is a series. It's not finished yet, but it's good enough to be my number one.
Sex in the City. What is wrong with you?
That almost made my number one. It was close. Stranger Things. I know that some people are not finished with season 4 yet, or at least the first part of season 4. So I'm not gonna ruin anything.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Are you not finished with the first part yet?
No, I said excuse me. It was just a little sneeze.
So should I tell you what happened?
Shut up.
I think again, such a well written show. The cast is perfect. It's exactly what it needs to be. It's not anything more. It's not anything less. Um, Adam and I were talking earlier before we went on air about how we could see maybe one more season, but that's about it. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to overstay its welcome. And we've also talked about how again it's so well written, and the kids in the show are portrayed as kids would actually be growing up in the 80s. They curse, they act like kids, they act like teenagers. It's not like the squeaky clean leave it to beaver crap that a lot of shows like to make kids seem like. It's more real. Like, this is how kids would act. um, this is how kids would deal with the Demogorgon, or the Upside Down and things like that. So it's just a really good show, and I'm excited for part 2 of season 4, and then hopefully a season 5, to see kind of how all of this uh, you know ends, or where it goes from here. But yeah, that's my number one. Is Stranger Things, not GOT. Sorry, sorry, Adam, couldn't do it.
Whatever.
I could listen. Listen, it's not you. It's you. Uh, I mean, I could have put SmackDown as number one, or uh, AEW Dynamite. I could have put that.
Okay, that's gonna do it for this week, folks.
Listen, I almost put Southpaw Regional Wrestling on my list. I did. I almost put it on there, but I miss that. I really do. But anyway, that will be episode 3 of The Real Deal. We'll be back next week. Not sure what we're doing next week. Probably another uh, countdown, or maybe a discussion on a movie. We have some ideas of things we want to do, but we'll see how it goes. Until then, go follow us on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast social medias. That's still how we're kind of doing this as well. So ICW_podcast on all social media, and we will see you on the Flippity Dipsy. Hopefully, we
Oh,
have an Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast episode coming up, because we were supposed to last week, and somebody didn't do his one job and watch the show. Anyway, we'll see you on the Flippity Dippity. Oh yeah.